Every civilization that ever existed buried something it didn't want found. The Egyptians sealed their tombs, the Romans burned their letters, the Greeks locked certain scrolls inside temples only priests could enter. Women do the same thing. Not with stone and mortar, but with silence, composure, and a face that gives away nothing. What she feels when she's truly intimate with a man, that has been buried for centuries beneath duty, performance, and the quiet survival strategy of never letting anyone dig too deep. This video is the excavation, and I'm warning you now, what we find beneath the surface isn't what most men expect. What you're about to hear isn't dating advice. It isn't a list of tips to make her chase you. It isn't manipulation packaged as insight. This is real psychological archaeology, pulling back layers of mythology, history, and neuroscience to uncover what actually lives inside a woman in the most vulnerable moment she can share with another human being. 5 excavation sites, 5 buried truths, each one older and deeper than the last. The further we dig, the more dangerous the knowledge gets. Let's go underground. Excavation Site 1, The Divided Woman. Artifact, the myth of Inanna. 4,000 years ago, the Sumerians told the story of Inanna, queen of heaven, goddess of love and war simultaneously. She wasn't one thing. She was the storm and the calm, the hunger and the satisfaction, the desire to be conquered and the refusal to be owned. They didn't think this was a contradiction. They thought it was the whole truth. Fast forward to 16th century Italy, Lucrezia Borgia. History painted her as either a saint or a poisoner, pure or corrupt, victim or villain. For 500 years, men argued about which one she really was. They missed the point entirely. She was both. That was the point. Here's what modern psychology finally confirmed. The moment a woman becomes intimate with a man, 2 opposing psychological states fire simultaneously. Carl Jung called this the tension of opposites, and nowhere is it more acute than here. She feels chosen, desired, affirmed in something ancient and feminine that doesn't have a clean English word. At the exact same moment, she feels exposed, fragile, terrified that what she just revealed will be the reason she gets discarded. This isn't confusion. This isn't emotional instability. This is the most honest psychological state a human being can occupy. The men who understand this become magnetic, not because they fix the tension, but because they don't flinch when they feel it. They don't demand she be only the confident version. They don't exploit the vulnerable version. They hold the space for both to exist. That is rarer than most men know, and she can feel it within seconds. Excavation Site 2, The Mirror She Carries Everywhere. Artifact, Nefertiti's unfinished portrait. In 1912, archaeologists in Egypt uncovered the limestone bust of Nefertiti and stopped breathing. Not because of the beauty, because of one detail no one had noticed for 3,000 years. Her left eye had no iris. It was never finished. Some historians believe it was intentional, that the artist left it incomplete because the portrait was never meant to be seen by outsiders. It was a private object, a mirror Nefertiti used to study herself. A woman, even the most powerful woman in the ancient world, needed to see herself reflected back clearly to know she was real. Nothing has changed. The second buried truth of female psychology. During intimacy, a woman is not only present with you, she is watching your face like it is the only mirror in the room. Your breathing, your focus, whether your eyes stay or wander, whether your hands are present or mechanical. These aren't romantic details, they are data. Her nervous system is running a continuous calculation. Does he still see me, or has he already moved past me? When your presence is full and attuned, something settles in her, a quiet confirmation, I exist, I matter, I am enough. When you are distracted, even slightly, the mirror cracks, and what rushes in to fill that crack is not sadness, it is the shadow, the ancient pre-verbal fear of being seen through rather than seen. Here is the dangerous knowledge buried in this sight. You have more psychological power in these moments than you realize. Not because you control her worth, you don't and you can't, but because the human nervous system was not built to be indifferent to the gaze of someone it trusts. Use that awareness. Don't weaponize it. Don't perform presence. Actually arrive. The difference between those two things she will feel in her body before her brain can name it. Excavation Site 3. The bond that forms without permission. Artifact, the knot of Isis. Ancient Egyptian funerary texts describe the knot of Isis, called the tite, a symbol of protection tied around the dead before burial. The knot was believed to bind the soul to its source, creating a connection that not even death could sever. They understood something about the nature of bonding that modern science took until the 1980s to catch up with. The neuroscience is this stark. During intimacy, a woman's brain floods with oxytocin, the same neurochemical that fires when a mother first holds her newborn. It is not metaphorically bonding, it is literally the bonding chemical. Her nervous system does not distinguish between romantic attachment and primary attachment. It simply binds. Dopamine reinforces the memory. Her body encodes the scent, the pressure, the rhythm into something that is not stored in her mind. It is stored in her tissue. She can decide it was casual. Her brain will agree. Her body will remember anyway. Jung took this even further. He argued that intimacy is never only biological, it is symbolic. When a woman opens to a man, she is encountering what he called the animus, her own inner masculine, the part of herself she has never been able to fully access alone. The man before her becomes temporarily the mirror of her own incompleteness. This is why women return to men that logic tells them to leave. This is why a single encounter can haunt a woman for years when 100 others left no trace. This is why she cannot explain, even to herself, why him. The bond didn't ask permission. It formed in the dark, below language, below choice. Knowing this does not give you power over her, but it should give you gravity, the awareness that what happens in these moments carries weight long after they end. Excavation Site 4. The War Beneath the Calm Face. Artifact, Joan of Arc's Last Letter. The night before her execution, Joan of Arc wrote a letter that historians largely ignored for centuries because it didn't fit the narrative. She wasn't praying. She wasn't preparing for martyrdom with peaceful resignation. She was furious and terrified and still, beneath both, certain. 3 states, simultaneously, in a 19-year-old girl who had been told her whole life to choose one. The 4th buried truth is this: when a woman becomes truly intimate with a man, fear and love do not arrive in sequence. They arrive together, tangled, indistinguishable at first. The fear speaks in the voice of the shadow. What if I meant nothing? What if he forgets me by morning? What if I just handed the most unguarded version of myself to someone who will use it as a punchline? The love, and here is the part no relationship channel will say out loud, the love arrives uninvited, and it does not care what she decided going in. A woman can walk into intimacy with full emotional armor, certain she is in control, certain she wants nothing serious, and the animus does not care about her certainty. When it finds resonance, it fires. The attachment forms, and suddenly she is in a war she did not declare against a part of herself she cannot negotiate with. This is not weakness. This is not neediness. This is the most honest evidence that she is a fully alive human being. When she pulls back immediately after closeness, she is not playing games. She is trying to contain something that feels dangerously close to real. When she comes back softer than before, she lost the battle, and she is quietly hoping you are worth the surrender. Excavation Site 5. The identity she rebuilds in your presence. Artifact. The uncarved mask of ancient Greece. Before a Greek actor performed, he held the mask but had not yet put it on. In that suspended moment, face exposed, character not yet assumed, he was neither himself nor his role. The Greeks considered this the most honest a person could be. Women live in that moment every time they are truly intimate with someone. The fifth and deepest buried truth: intimacy does not leave her identity intact, it tests it. When she is truly present with a man, not performing, not managing, not protecting, she encounters herself without the mask, and what she discovers in that encounter is shaped, in part, by how you receive her in the moments that follow. A word of genuine recognition afterward does not just feel good, it becomes architecture. It becomes part of how she constructs herself going forward. Indifference after intimacy does not just sting, it functions like a small demolition. It tells the unmasked version of her that the unmasked version was not worth staying for. This is why post-intimacy presence is not optional. It is not a bonus. It is the moment that determines what the entire experience meant and what it will continue to mean every time she replays it. Modern psychology calls this identity integration, the merging of the vulnerable self with the everyday self into something more whole. You can be the man who makes that possible, or you can be the man who makes her bury it again, deeper than before, with better locks. 5 excavation sites, 5 truths that civilizations across 4,000 years kept trying to bury. The divided woman who contains multitudes, the mirror she holds up to your face without you knowing, the bond that forms in her body without her consent, the war between fear and love she fights in silence, and the identity she rebuilds or dismantles in the quiet after you've been close. None of this is manipulation. None of this is weakness. This is what it actually costs a woman to let someone in. Most men never find out because most men never dig. You just did. If this hit something real in you, like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Tell me which excavation site shook you most, because the conversation that starts in the comments is always the one that goes the deepest. The next dig goes even further underground. I'll see you there.